Good day, Gil Glass here with Logis Solutions, here to bring you another installment of our updates that we've been doing every time we roll out a major upgrade. This is the Spring 2022 product updates of the Logis product suite. Today we are going to go through updates related to Logis Intelligent Decision Support, so IDS, and starting off with some both user interface and some general IDS features. So this current release coming out this spring, IDS version 4, has some minor but also some major changes to the UI related to how your end users will experience it. So we'll go through the menu bar, Gantt, incident, and dispatch window appearance, and then probably where the most significant changes are related to the map. We'll also be covering new features related to IDS for urgent transports, dispatch, and resource information. All right, so as we move into the IDS version 4 user interface changes, the first thing you'll recognize is the windows have a more unified look and feel that follows along with the changes we'd made in the call taking screen a couple of years ago. So we'll start with the menu bar. So you'll notice at the top of your screen here, the menu bar icons have changed. Color represents the type of information you're working with. So dispatching is in orange, call taking is related to is in green, patient care is in pink. The other neat pieces related to this area here is I have all of my menu items that I have access to are available on the right hand side, but I can also quickly search for different items to be able to bring them up depending on what my user access is. The final piece related to the menu bar is the ability to dock it either at the top or the bottom of the screen. I've quickly adopted the fact that I like it at the bottom, but it allows you to kind of, especially if you're a Windows user, be able to quickly get accustomed to where this is now docked at the bottom. The next items we're going to review are the changes to look and feel of the Gantt. So I'll just make this a little bit bigger here so we can see the information. Mostly just some minor coloring changes. The right-click menus have some different groupings now related to bringing more of the important information to the top and then grouping things that are similar into subgroups depending on what the different action is. Those changes also follow through onto the incident screen from a color palette look and feel and onto the dispatching screen. As we move into the map, really where a lot of the visual changes are in version 4, immediately you'll notice change to both the fact the menu bar is gone from the top and the collapsing filter, and the filter items are now collapsing on the left hand side of the screen. So starting with filters, I have the ability to both turn on filters. I can add it as a layer. I can set it to always show the filter, and what I mean by that is when I hide the filters, the dialog related to the filter stays present, or I can just show the layer on the map by having the layer set. Other features I have here I'll turn on real quick is the ability to reorder features. So when I click show filters here, I can see all the ones that are that I've set to be able to show. When I do reordering, I can drag those and move them based upon what I want to do. And then let's say I want to bring, for example, my source polygons that have that filter always available to me to select. I can then, now it becomes part of that menu. As soon as I untick the pin for the filter, it disappears. Other changes within the map window, you'll notice all the icons have been redone. So now I can see my icons for my incidents. My unit icons are, and the labels related to those. And then as I zoom into the map here related to this, I can actually see vehicles that are capable of lights and sirens on the unit. When they're responding or transporting lights and sirens, we'll get the lights and sirens wigwags going there as they're driving. The final piece on the map is we bring in different layers. I'll bring in, for example, my hotspots layer related to dynamic deployment, where the look and feel really hasn't changed there. But one of our new subscription services in partnership with Aries Weather is the ability to bring weather into the map. And so as I bring up my weather layers here, I've got different layers that we've defined that are really a combination of different filters that are available in the Aries API. So for example, I've zoomed out here to a national view. This map layer is showing my radar imaging here, so it'll refresh these tiles here every few seconds. And then as I move to stuff like if we do storm cells is always a good one. I can also see storm cell information. So if I zoom in down here to by Corpus Christi, I can see the storm cell direction, lightning strikes, and then my legend here will describe what type of general information related to that within that information. We also have the ability to show things like fire, wind, forecast high and low temperatures related to the weather service. So as I move back to my view here, linking myself back to my service area, so get back in a little bit tighter where we're at, you can actually see some of the storm cells re-rendering here as the map comes up, and quickly link between my different bookmarks related to what I want to see on the map, and once again be able to do things like switching to my satellite view. So as I move in tighter here and quickly be able to rotate between my satellite view on the map. So those are the general changes to the user experience for version 4. And here in just a moment, we'll walk through some of the features related to version 4. So now that we've walked through the UI changes, we're going to cover some new IDS features. The first will be urgent transfers, followed by dispatch, the new adjust functionality, view alternate suggestions, quick dispatch changes, crew check-in, emergency recommendation logs, and resource info. So as we walk through the demonstration of urgent transfers, as many of you are aware, in order to have been able to kind of do this emergent transfer workflow, urgent transfer, you had to kind of switch to that emergency workflow, but you lost a lot of the ability to kind of get the benefits on the call taking workflows related to things like questionnaires, to be able to drive and help call takers get to arrive at the right place to be. So what we've done in the introduction of urgent transfers is allow transfers to interrupt other transfers. So similar to what an emergency call works like on the incident side, but allow you to stay within the call taking workflow itself. So on my Gantt here, I have unit CCT1. They're currently en route to JPS to pick up a patient and take them to Texas Health Harris Methodist Hospital on a C4, so a critical care transport non-emergency call. I've booked through my call taking workflow a pickup at JPS ICU, going to Children's Hospital Dallas, and then using my questionnaire, set the CCT stat and a cardiac monitor. So it gives me my CCT stat call class, my CCT stat service level agreement. And now as I save this, it will interrupt the current work. It will interrupt the current work, and now you can see my initial transfer that was en route has been unplanned. It will once again fall back into the looking to optimize that based upon available resources. But now my C2, my CCT stat trip has interrupted that and is automatically en route now. The next section is related to dispatch features. We're going to cover a couple of these with the same example. So as I take my dispatch screen here and make it bigger so we can zoom in and see some of the detail related to this, I'm going to show an example that I've created where I've created an incident at the Hilton Garden Inn, and the recommendation that's come back here is for this resource that is on a BLS non-emergency, B4 going to BSW, to be reassigned to this B3. But let's say I wanted to evaluate what my other options were related to this call. I can now click on this plus sign for view alternate resources, and it's going to bring me up a list of the available resources that are qualified, both over and under qualified for this particular response. So you can see I've got B509, which is my current recommendation with a 6-minute ETA and is less than a mile away, and there's no under qualifications. My B505 is 9 minutes away. And then if I go down to my Burleson Fire Aid Unit, I've got a 21-minute response plus a 1-minute penalty. And if I hover over the information area, I see that I am coming from a different operating area, which from what my configuration is, tacks on an additional 1-minute penalty. If I click on the graph button here, I can actually see that represented visually, and I can actually show the ETA alone, the distance alone, for evaluating what I want. And if I wanted to select something different, I would simply select, in this case, let's say on B505, and it would reassign that response to B505. The second feature you can see here is the adjust button. And as I come here and grab that back, we'll just grab an adjust button on this one here. So if I grab my adjust button on B505, now this works similar to the adjust on the incident screen, where if I come here and I click add response, I can actually add additional responses to this. If I wanted to add a supervisor response, for example, I would hit OK, and it would add that supervisor response to that incident here as I was looking at it. Okay, our next feature to show is crew check-in. So think of them as safety checks. So on the response plan now, you can configure warnings to go off every X period of time. You can kind of see here, I've got one here that's shown up based on how I've set up my message subscriptions and channels, letting me know I need to check on, in this case, command 2. That also will show up in my message center. So I've got a safety check up here. The beautiful part about coming through the message center is I can quickly go into resource info, which is really another kind of ties in another feature related to here. And here I can log my crew checkup. So if I radio out and I talk to the chief in this case, I can add my note here, and it will then, once again, 3 minutes later. So I've got my needed crew checkup and what the entry is related to that. Other things that are happening here now related to resource information is if I go in and I look at my resource information here, I'm able to see a lot more detail related to what's going on with my resource. So we continue to add more and more visibility to the different things related to basic summary information, who the crew was, unit, different events related to the resource, any additional responses, depot stops or post moves. I can view the stop list from here. I can view the log of the resource. I can view the map. So I want to view AVL, daily route, and coming with AVL will also be the route that was set for the AVL from the mobile device. So a lot of information related to resource information will be available through a single screen now. The final general IDS feature for version 4 that we're going to cover in this segment is related to emergency recommendations, or as otherwise known as explain suggestion. So you've always been able to get to the explain suggestion from here. What we've done now on this side is we've actually are storing that information, what we call emergency recommendation logs. So I have the ability to go in here. I'll make this a little bit bigger. Not much in the grid, but I can search both by work set and incident. I can see if the incident was auto dispatched, and then when I open this up, I get that same explain suggestion that I've always had. So this is the most critical tool for evaluating all of the recommendation logic that was gone through to determine what resources should be sent and what the final outcome was, and really provides a good set of tools for organizations to troubleshoot their own, and a critical tool for us as we're evaluating any challenges you may have. So brings that to you, be accessible all the time now to be able to go back and historically pull up those individual incidents and being able to evaluate the suggestion on those. Thank you, and that concludes this segment of IDS updates. Stay tuned for a few other episodes related to features related to fire and operations our new exciting web replacement for Activity View. Thank you again. Any questions, please feel free to reach out to us here at Logis, and we'll be able to walk you through and answer those questions. Have a great day.